This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 1913, How to Do a Weekly Review to Boost Productivity by Mia of SheDreamsAllDay.com. And I'm your narrator, Justin Malik, reading you blogs every single day of the year. We have a bunch of shows covering different topics. For example, Optimal Relationships Daily, where relationships content is narrated for you, and Optimal Living Advice, where your life questions are answered. Both of these shows are hosted by Greg Audino, and I mentioned those specifically out of our podcast network because it's his birthday today, so happy birthday, Greg. Also my nephew's birthday, so happy birthday to him too, turning the big 16. And with that, let's get right to it as we optimize your life. How to Do a Weekly Review to Boost Productivity by Mia of SheDreamsAllDay.com. If there's one thing I don't miss every week, it's doing my weekly review. This is when I carve out an hour of my day to review the ups, downs, the small wins, and challenges I meet along the way to reaching my goals. I highly recommend that you get into the habit of doing a weekly review ASAP. I can guarantee that it will boost your productivity for the week ahead. Reflect on and evaluate how you're currently spending your time. By getting intentional and reviewing the past week, you'll save yourself so much time. From now, take charge of your Sundays so you can make your next week the best week ever. Why do a weekly review? There are so many perks to sitting down and reflecting on how you spent your time in the last 7 days. Just a heads up, doing a proper weekly review is going to make every Sunday feel like January 1st, full of possibilities. In other words, you'll get 52 opportunities to start fresh. I can't think of anything better than that. Your weekly review gives your mind and life a reset. It builds momentum for what's coming, boosts awareness, and is an amazing tool for up-leveling your productivity game. You're building the space you need to notice the patterns that aren't currently serving you so you can make the change. Every time you do your weekly review, you're essentially hitting the reset button on your life. This new habit is going to help you stay on track with your goals too. You'll hold yourself accountable by making time to check in with yourself and goals. Are you on track? Do you need to make some sort of change? Is what you're doing working? Doing a weekly review will give you clarity and an objective view of your past week so you can set the right intention for next week and clean out any mental trash and thoughts that aren't serving you or your dreams. Convinced to hop on the weekly review train? Let's do this. When to do a weekly review? I suggest you sit down and do your weekly review whenever it works for your schedule, preferably Sunday or Monday. I personally love to do my weekly review every Sunday afternoon. By doing it on a Sunday, you won't have to deal with the stress of your 9 to 5 or other obligations, and you'll most likely have an hour to yourself, hopefully. Set aside time to do the review and schedule it on your calendar. Aim to make your weekly review a habit and be consistent with it. Set aside 1 full hour for the first few reviews that you do. It's probably going to take some time to get into the process and get the hang of your new awesome habit. Step 1, journal it out. The first thing I do as part of my weekly review is to journal freely for about 15 to 20 minutes on a blank piece of paper or in my Google Doc for when I don't have my journal at hand. I write it all out, all those to-dos that are slowing you down or lurking in the back of your mind. By the end of the week, your mind is likely boggling with thoughts and to-dos. You definitely don't want to go into the next week with an overwhelmed mind. Fresh and clean is what we're aiming for here. Don't put on a filter and let your thoughts run freely onto the page. Declutter your brain. Start the next week with a fresh and newly organized mind. Feels pretty good, doesn't it? Step 2, ask questions. Asking questions is a powerful way to get clarity on how the last week unfolded. Here are some of my favorite questions that I myself ask every Sunday evening. What requires my attention next week? What did I spend too much time on this week? Did I take action that aligned with my dreams? What needs to be scheduled? Any unresolved issues? What needs to be more clear next week? Any obstacles in sight for the coming week? What were my obstacles last week? What went well last week? Any weekly wins? What isn't working and needs fixing? What have I been procrastinating over? And how can I set up the next week for success? Take some time to go through these questions and really reflect on your answers. Your answers will act as a guide for when you plan out the next week. Step 3, do the 2 to 5 minute tasks. Are there any minor tasks that will literally take you less than 5 minutes to complete? Just do them now. Get them out of the way before the next week begins. Include this process in your weekly review and you're going to feel so much more productive. Because most of the time, we tend to make them up to take longer than they really will. As Nike would say, just do it. Step 4, review your calendar. Time to get that calendar out, girl. Take a good look at it and ask yourself, are there any appointments in the next week that need rescheduling? Check in with your social activities and confirm they're still on. Make sure you're spending your time effectively and exactly how you want and need to. Step 5, celebrate your wins. Time to pop the bubbly or grab your go-to beverage. Always pay attention to the progress you're making and never lose sight of what's going well, whether those wins are big or small. Never dismiss the little wins along the way. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by all the things we have going on, and especially as we're always so focused on the grand finale, the big picture, and end destination. This is why taking some time to reflect every Sunday is key and very important. So what went well this week, dreamer? Celebrate all your little wins on your dream chasing journey. Step 6, check in with your goals. Check in with your dreams and goals when you do your weekly review. Ask yourself the following questions. Have you been living a life in line with your dreams this week? Have your core values been represented in the past week? If so, how? How have you been chasing your dreams this week? The things you do daily should reflect your core values and your big picture. Chase a mini dream one day at a time. This is so important, and I cannot stress this enough. Be sure that you are always in forward motion and heading in the right direction. If not, change course and make adjustments. And step 7, prep and plan for the next week. When you do your weekly review, it's also a good time to prep for the coming week and scribble down what will be your main focus for the next week. Make a note of your top 3 most important tasks for the coming week. Bring awareness to where you want your attention and focus to be for the next 7 days. This is how you properly set the intention and prep your mind for what's ahead. Go into the next week with a dedicated purpose. This will make it so much easier to steer your mind in the direction of your goals. Before you go, implement a weekly review to inspire and motivate you to move forward with your goals and increase your awareness of how you're spending your time. This is what will keep you on track with your goals and dreams in life, and it'll help boost your productivity as a whole. Plus, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment when you start the new week fresh with a clear mind and excitement. You just listened to the post titled, How to Do a Weekly Review to Boost Productivity by Mia of shedreamsallday.com. And thank you to Mia. Great ideas here for a weekly review. You can hear more from her on our other shows. Definitely check out Optimal Relationships Daily and Optimal Living Advice. Since it's Greg's birthday today, he hosts both of those shows. But that'll do it for today. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow for Minimalist Monday, where your optimal life awaits.